Hey guys, Brandon here. Just wanted to come on and show some records, more specifically, some records that were recently graciously sent to me by Chris Cole, John Coltrane 68 on YouTube. He sent me a video asking if I was interested in these duplicates that he had, and I was like, yeah, I am very interested. I'll take them all. Turned out to be, well, there were 8 records on the video, and then he added an additional one that was pretty great into the care package. And those are the ones that I'm gonna show now. And then I've also pulled some records from my own collection that I think are, would be Chris Cole approved. Not all of these I've had a chance to listen to yet. I mean, 9 records done the last week or so since I've received them. I've had, very limited time. And I'm also getting other records in the same time, nearly almost every day. It's kind of gone overboard. And still there's more to come. So I think I'm gonna have to slow down for a little bit just so I can start to digest all this music. So one of the records that he sent me, and I feel like some of these can be probably commonly found and maybe overlooked at record stores. This is the New Music, Volume 3. I think I'd play this mostly as background music for the time being until I can really get into it. But, experimental orchestral stuff, any number of instruments, all sounds great. I'm not too familiar with all the players or the compositions that are played, but in time I will familiarize myself with this. I did listen to this one, Electronic Music Winners, First Recordings, a League of Composers, and International Competition. This one is on Columbia Odyssey. This whole thing was great. I can't remember, I wasn't familiar with any of these composers really. Paul Lansky, I think, is on here. I know him from something. Electronic compositions, all terrific music that you just get lost in, really. Not too derivative of other things that you might have heard. Very rewarding. And some of these artists, composers, I might want to look into further in the future. This one I had been seeking, so I was very appreciative that Chris had sent it, this Lou Harrison record. He's got 4 different pieces on here. Just terrific percussive world instrumentation. So very pleased that I didn't have to, well, not that I wouldn't if I saw this. I don't know if I've ever seen this out. I might have, but I think the copy might have been too beat up. Like the cover might not look the greatest, but the record sounds tremendous. So very happy to have this Lou Harrison finally. I don't have any other Lou Harrison. I have the William Winant one where he does, I think, 2 Lou Harrison compositions. So definitely an artist that I need to be on the lookout for. Percussion music. I love percussion music. The 2 pieces that stood out to me, the Varese and the Stanley Cowell, or Henry Cowell. I mean, I feel I might have seen these on Non-Such. I see these all the time, but I never know which ones I want to get. And if I've overlooked this in the past, I'm very happy to have a copy of it now. Another one, haven't listened to it yet. Speculum Music. I think I've seen this one out before. Dal Martino, Charles Bourinin. You know, the Warinian with flute, oboe, bass, clarinet, contrabass, piano, percussion, vibes, 4 drums, and, you know, 3 gongs. I mean, if I see that, then I'm immediately intrigued. So this will be getting spun soon. The one video I think Chris commented on, I had shown that I recently got a bunch of all of the reissued Xenakis that came on the box set last year. Haven't listened to this, I don't think. I thought I might have even had a copy of it, but turns out I didn't, so very much looking forward to sort of the Xenakis experience with this one. Here, Belize. Three tracks on here. Transfigured Night, Madrigal, 3, and equivalences. I feel like I'm familiar with equivalences, but I haven't checked this one out. So, I mean, this is near the top of the list to soon be spun. Again, I feel like I've seen this out. Many of you might have as well. You know, records that might be slept on, that, you know, obviously probably shouldn't be. This one I'd been holding out for, I've wanted for a long time. I thought I'd run into a copy of it at some point. The Stockhausen, Ceylon and Bird of Passage, just a tremendous listen. I love this version of Stockhausen, and you know, I'm very fortunate that Chris had this as a duplicate, and I was able to finally get a copy of it on the Chrysalis label. The extra one that he tossed in is this Azuma Kabuki album, the Azuma Kabuki Musicians. I love that cover. The first side, vocals, you know, obviously it's sung in, was it Chinese or Japanese? Yeah, Japanese. Second side sounded, and I think I even told Chris this, you know, it sounded almost like a acoustic finger-plucked Hawkwind, which really caught me off guard. And you don't really need to like Hawkwind to appreciate it. I mean, this album was, you know, for the throw-in, the surprise I was very, very, very happy to receive this one. And then I, you know, took some albums out of my own collection that, you know, I think would get the, I mean, I'm pretty sure that Chris knows all these. I have another CRI, Tree Music by Paul Shahara. I'd come across this maybe a year or two ago. It was a blind buy. Tree Music, I was hoping that it was music where trees were used as instruments, but it turns out that's not the case. It's more of like the philosophy behind the approach to music that Paul Shahara has. It's okay. The standout track, mostly near the end, is when the Buchla synthesizer comes in on, you know, logs 16. But, you know, if you ever come across this cheap, it's worth a pickup. Oh, there's two that Chris had hipped me to on eBay that finally arrived today. This electronic music on CRI, the American Contemporary series by the McLeans, husband and wife, Priscilla and Barton McLean. Barton McLean I was familiar with. I have a record that he plays on that I'm going to show in like a minute. But looking forward to getting into this. Love this cover. I don't remember seeing many of these CRIs with this sort of color scheme on it. And then obviously, many people are probably familiar with this Carl Stone Wule Oak. I had been after this for a while. Chris had brought it to my attention at a good price on eBay. I obviously pulled the punch. It was a want list item. I have a couple later Carl Stones. I've always wanted this one. I think this is his first album. I spun it a little when I first got it. It needs a cleaning. It seemed a bit noisy. And especially for this type of music, you kind of want it to be as quiet as possible. But again, thank you, Chris, for pointing this out and linking me on eBay. Finally being able to own this. You know, another like sort of minimalist cover. I think it was named after this title. Restaurant. It's maybe a Chinese restaurant, Japanese, some sort of Asian restaurant in California at the time. I don't know if it's still around. Probably not. Some more albums I pulled. This is a terrific album. Multi-instrumentalist Larkin. Moments Empowered. I think the stand. I like this cover as well. Don't be thrown off by the sort of hippie-ish stance. Music is great. My favorite track is that side B, Two Souls Dance. Nice, long, hypnotic, electronic elements. There are many instruments played. He plays the flutes, penny whistle, santur, which is the hammer, dulcimer, Chinese singing bell, wind chimes, a surge synthesizer, bird chorus, and he also uses Mother Nature as an instrument. Solo violin album by Wolfgang Kubzik. Dane Farben. This is great. It's not like a Jean-Luc Ponty violin. A lot different. Almost sounds like a guitar at times. I don't know if many people have, someone's shown this. I don't know how this came to my attention at some point, but this is great. Wolfgang Kubzik. Zoltan Genet. I think he's Hungarian. I hope I have that right. Love this album, love the cover. Again, almost sort of ambient electronic. There he is right there. One of my favorite German groups is the band Between. Silence Beyond Time. I think probably an album in their catalog that doesn't really get much. I don't know how many people know about Between. Probably most of the people that would watch this channel. Between, Peter Michael Hamill, all the solo stuff is pretty tremendous. Much of it I own. All the early stuff that is considerably pricey, I want to have, hopefully one day. But Silence Beyond Time, desolate, isolated landscape. Great music. Berto Detre, Robert Eliscu. He's got the usual guys that played in most of his albums on here. Roger Janata. Tabla and Tempura, congas. This one I need to spin again. Between, Silence Beyond Time. Another album, Richard Teitelbaum. I think he did an album with Anthony Braxton. Blends and the Digital Piano. Also features Katsuya Yokoyama on flute, and Trilok Gertu does percussion on the first side. And then I think the second side is just the Teitelbaum and on piano and computers. Yep, blend in the digital piano, Richard Teitelbaum. I think this is a Canadian musician, Barry Truax. Sequence of Earlier Heaven, Electroacoustic and Computer Music by Barry Truax. Haven't spun this one in a while. Sort of, you know, I think you can tell by the cover, very Eastern influenced. I don't know. It says with Peter Hannon, Russell Hartenberger. I don't know those guys. But this is deserving of a re-listen. The other album that I was that I have with Barton McLean is this one, Extended Saxophone, Albert Regney. Treated saxophone and tape sounds. This is excellent. I love this. German musician Jürgen Karg. I think he played with Wolfgang Dahner. This one is on Mood Records. Elektronische Mythen. Just butchering German. Jürgen Karg. Maybe sort of minimal and with some dark overtones on this one. One of my favorite instrumentalists is Michael Ranta, Mu 5 and 6. I think on this one he's just using all Japanese classical instruments. Some of the stuff that he has on vinyl, well, he was on that Improvisation 1975 album with Kosugi and was it Takanashi? Michael Ranta. Another very minimal, sort of quiet but hypnotic album. Grayscale, David Cunningham, Piano Records. A couple more. William Hoskins, Galactic Fantasy, Eastern Reflections. So I think on the first side is sort of the more cosmic electronic explorations, and then the second side is where you sort of get the Eastern instrumentations, that sound of the other hemisphere. This is pretty great. I listened to the first side again yesterday. This is William Hoskins. Swedish group, Swedish fusion maybe, but not fusion in, a way that might turn off some people. Iskra Fantasies. And check out that amazing cover. You can spot your Marilyn Monroe. There are the gentlemen on stage performing. There were a couple other Iskra albums that I want that I don't have. What label is this one on? No, doesn't matter. worthwhile album, jazzy, all over the place. Might be a bit improvised. Sort of reminds me of maybe sort of Bent Bergeresh, or the things that Don Cherry did when he was in Sweden. If you don't know it, I would maybe sample it if any of that sounds appealing to you. I think Chris is a fan of the German group Embryo. This is an album that they did with, this was on, I think, their label, Schneeball. Karnataka College of Percussion. Charlie Mariano's on here, I think, playing saxophone. A lot of these Schneeballs came with all these extras, probably a poster. Yeah. I think that percussion group is from India. This is an awesome sort of live album. If you're into Embryo, definitely worth checking out. Finally, another German artist. I think this is his only album. Herbert Berry. Traumspiel. There's Herbert. It might not be his real name. I do remember I really liked that last track. Kind of wish it was a lot longer. All right. I'll end things here. Chris, thank you so much for those records, and I'll see you guys soon.